What's ripening YouTube? And welcome to the jungle. So today's episode, we're going to be bringing down some eucalyptus, and you'll see those right here. They've gotten quite tall. I would say they're up in the 30 to 40 foot range. These are the ones that I've only done one apical cut on them, and I did it really high, like as high as I could, and then I let it go for like over a year. The ones over in this row, I've been keeping them a lot shorter, and mainly I've been doing this because I wanted to learn about the species, and I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around how to manage them. But these are way too tall, and it's time to bring them down. We're in the wet season now. It's not cold. I'm not concerned about losing any of the, buffering effect that they have on my younger trees. And I can certainly benefit from the biomass being brought down and put on the ground. So that's what we're gonna do here, and stay tuned. So I'm here with Josh, and we're just kind of discussing how we think we can approach this. We have all the right tools. Between the two of us, we have quite a bit of options of how to maintain this thing. We're going to start with the pole saw, see how that goes. I've got a battery powered one, he's got a really nice manual one, and we'll set up the camera, see how far up we can get, and then try to get some of the weight out of the tree, and then get up there and take the tops out. So we'll be back. All right, so we just came through and we lifted up the skirt on these trees, and by that I mean that we took all the lower branches out, basically as high as we could reach. We're using a Stihl battery powered unit. This is the HTA85, and this runs with the AP300 battery. This is what I have. I bought this and another small chainsaw. They use the same battery, same bar size, and I freaking love these things. And then my buddy Josh over here has been using his Silky. He's a big Silky fan, and he's got this super extender manual saw you see over here. His reaches a little bit higher than mine does. It's got this cutting blades on a couple different areas where you can kind of pull and cut and make different maneuvers up there. But anyway, we've got as high up as we can get from the ground. Next thing we're going to do is what we shouldn't have to do, but because I let these get so tall, you'll see what I mean. All right, so cut out as many as we could from one direction. There's a couple tall apical tips, or I guess replacement apical tips, that would have fallen on me, so we're gonna come back to the other side and fell those in the other direction. You gotta be really careful doing this. This is why what I did with these eucalyptus wasn't correct. I shouldn't have pruned them so high and left them for so long. It really goes back to the importance of the maintenance, and not having to be up on the forks on a tractor with the pole saw because you plan for that. So the ones that are over here, this is how I'm maintaining them now. And if you look up there, right there, I can reach that from the ground. So now I'm keeping my eucalyptus prunable from the ground. Like I said, this was an experiment. We're going to work through the rest of it, get it down. I think I'm just going to leave the poles up. I was going to take them all the way down, but I don't need the poles for anything, and I'm curious to see how they'll resprout. As I said, I'm always learning. All right, so the dangerous part's over with. We've cut the tops off of each of these eucalyptus. They're probably about 15 to 18 feet high, which I can reach with my equipment now. We're leaving them as tall poles. Remember, this eucalyptus is being treated as an early succession, or I guess early to mid succession emergent strata in this food forest. And the cool thing about eucalyptus is you can prune it a lot, and usually it just responds with a whole big flush of really fleshy growth that's easy to pull off. You can see the real bushy taller trees over here. That's the same thing. These are ready to be pruned down as well. This stuff is really easy to snap off. It's just a pleasure to work with generally. The big key is to not let it go for too long like I did here. You know, this is an experiment, but you know, this isn't something you want to do, is let your eucalyptus get, you know, 2 feet around and 50 feet tall, because then it's just a lot of mass to deal with. After this year, I'm going to let this resprout, and I'm going to use it one more year like this, and then I'll probably cut these to the ground. And the way you can cycle these is you can grow them until you have the size pole that you want for whatever your purpose may be. I don't think this is going to be like a long-term, you know, construction timber pole, but it could be like, you know, short-term post for farm use or whatever, or you could use it for edging your garden or something like that. But anyway, you can grow these to the right size pole, cut it off, and then generally it'll resprout from the bottom, and then you can choose a new main stem to maintain and do the whole process over again. A pretty cool plant. It definitely fits into the agroforestry system, but it has to be maintained. And if you want more information about that, I would look into Agroforestry Academy. I would look into Ernst, you know, Life in Syntropy YouTube channel. There's a bunch of other ones. Most of the other ones that I know of, I don't know them specifically, and a lot of their information is not in English. But if you know any other cool resources for agroforestry stuff that's new channels up and coming, you know, post them down below, because I'd like to see and find new people in the network and kind of, you know, start collaborating and learning from each other. I know there's a few really cool guys in Australia. Shout out to you, Scott, Tiago, and then there's a guy I've been talking to in New Zealand, Byron Bay. I can't remember his name. But anyway, shout out to all you guys. If anybody's got any tips about the eucalyptus, tell me I did it wrong, tell me I did it right. You know, go ahead and post it down below. Curious to hear what you have to say. And I'm always learning. So see you next time.